Yes, we back, y'all, and welcome to Politics and Black Families. I'm sitting here with my man, Eric Bell, District 75.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
I'm hearing a lot of great things about you.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Indeed. A lot of people speak highly of you. I'm glad that you came on the show.
Thank you.
I don't want to hold it up. I need to know what's going on with this Hope Scholarship and these bills that I see you talking about online, please.
So HB 853 is to expand the Hope Scholarship, but not only Hope Scholarship, but in-state tuition, state loans, and state grants to individuals who have felony drug convictions.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, if you live in the state of Georgia and you have a felony drug conviction, you're ineligible for state loan, tuitions, grants for 10 years. So that looks like if it's your prom night and you decide to smoke weed for the first time and you get caught, that's your history. That's your life gone. If this your first time going to a rave and you decide to pop Molly and sweat and you get caught, that's your future trajectory of your life gone in an instance. And we're talking about specifically individuals who are sub 25 who scientifically say their brain isn't even formed yet.
Yeah.
We're going to stunt their economic trajectory of their lives at that young age. We're going to prohibit people, not only people, but the family there and their general their community abroad from experiencing economic freedoms that it's the American dream, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's more so.
What's the progress looking like on that? What's going on with it as far as?
We had our first hearing, which is really good. It was in higher ed. Thank you to the chairman, Chuck Martin, for the opportunity to hear the bill, which was great. It's not going to go through this year due to the expansion of the Hope Scholarship. We're going to have to look at a fiscal note on it. So next year, we're going to be looking forward to bringing it back up, getting it heard, getting it voted on the floor, and getting it moved.
Yeah. How many children or families do you think depend on things like the Hope Scholarship? Like, how important is it to Black families?
Oh, it's tremendously important. When you have institutions like Georgia State and Georgia Southern, which have some of the largest Black populations of higher ed in the United States, that's extremely important because those are state schools and the individuals going there, they're receiving the Hope Scholarship. They're receiving in-state tuition. They're getting in-state grants to further their education. I mean, it's pivotal as a state that we move forward and do this because we don't want to lose talent options. We don't want to lose opportunities for economic empowerment, whether it's Hyundai or another company moving to the South or moving to Georgia and saying, well, they don't have a strong labor force. They don't have an educated labor force. They'll go somewhere else. They'll go somewhere else.
So you don't see bipartisan support on this bill?
Definitely. This is a bill both Republicans and Democrats signed. Gerald Green, who's one of the oldest serving Republican and member of the House, been serving his longest tenure. Jordan Ridley, who's a freshman legislator as well. David Clark, are individuals who have signed, are Republicans who have all signed and sponsored the bill as well. So it's a bipartisan thing. It's not only affecting Democratic communities, but it's affecting Republican communities as well.
That's good. So let me ask you this question around education. You hear a lot of young people now who don't think going to college is what will suit them. How do you feel about that as far as young folks going out of high school into college? Should they be thinking about other things, getting a skill and maybe a trade or entrepreneurship? How important is college in that role?
The most important thing that you're doing is something. I understand that college isn't for everybody. As long as you're in a technical school, as long as you're looking at gainful employment, as long as you're looking at entrepreneurship, the military, there's multiple things you can do, but what we don't want you to do is sit at home.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, so we want to instill that sense of hard work and drive in you that every person needs because our homeless population is exploding. The governor runs around a quote saying that 40% of high schoolers will be unemployable.
Yeah.
So that looks like bigger prisons. Yeah. Looks like larger homeless camps. That looks like higher rates of criminality or individuals engaging in crime. Yeah. So to say one thing, Expand Hope will fix a lot of that. Yeah. Because they'll either get those students that want to go to four-year colleges, get those students that want to become a welder, want to become an aviation mechanic. That would help those students. Even use state funds to start. There's grants for students to start entrepreneurial programs. But if you have a drug conviction, you're eligible for all of that. Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. Touch back on something. Going and being in the service. You were in the service?
Prior Navy, yeah.
Prior Navy. What was that journey like for you? Like, how did you get there?
Well, I did ROTC in high school just for fun.
My wife did too. She used to be over there.
I just wanted to go to camping, go overnight. What's it like? I used to watch Bug Juice, which was a camp for kids.
Yeah.
They go overnight camps, and my sisters did it a couple of times, but I never had the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I just want to go to camp, you know what I'm saying, do something cool like that. Didn't have the opportunity to be a Boy Scout, but growing up, they always seemed really cool to me.
Yeah.
So ROTC would seem like that to me. But long story short, I ended up getting a scholarship to Morehouse for our ROTC scholarship to Morehouse. I never thought of the military as a real plan for me. It was more so an economic opportunity. I saw that individuals in my family and in the community that went to the military, they saw the world.
Yeah.
They drove nice cars. They typically were on the up and up. So for me, it was about economic mobility. It was about seeing the world. But I served 18 months in the Navy as an officer during my tenure.
What was that like, that experience like for you? Coming from, you know.
It was the first time I felt like a minority.
Really?
Yeah, being from growing up in Clayton, South Atlanta, the metropolitan area, I graduated high school. It was probably like 10 white people out of 2,000. So I never knew what it really felt like to be a minority.
Yeah,
I was always normal. Like,
if
anything, I was the odd one out the group because they said, bring your country instead of using slang. You got a southern accent instead of a urban accent, if anything. But it was a rule. When I got to the Navy, I found out how black I was. It was crazy because I was on a Marine base, and they called me militant. And I'm like 19 years old. I'm like, militant? We're in the military. Isn't that where we're supposed to be? Militant? But
hold on. So in the military,
they said it's called me too
militant. Yeah. Is that something meaning that you don't like to follow orders, instructions, or you holding on to something too much pride? What is militant? Because black people can always be, it's easy to go that direction.
I didn't understand it when I was there at that point. I went home, I was like, hey, I got in trouble, and they called me militant. And in the military, I was like, is this a compliment? Are they like joking with me? And my mom was like, you remember the Malcolm X movie? I was like, yeah. He was like, that's what that mean, Eric. I'm like, oh. To me, I never defied the order, never said no at all. But like how you said, I think it was a sense of pride that I had, or a sense of self, or spirit that just wouldn't break.
And then sometimes when you in environments like, where you are a minority, that confidence can come across as militant. But you trying to, fit into an environment to where, you use those tools to negotiate your surroundings.
No, I definitely think some of it was them not understanding me. Even in the platoon, I was one out of maybe 60. I was the only black kid out of 60 in the whole platoon. So maybe it was that I stood out just based on the color of my skin. So probably my vernacular stood out. Probably the way I wore. I remember I got in trouble because my sunglasses were too trendy. So serious.
What's
all
too
black.
trendy?
They were all black like everybody else. They were Ray-Bans, but they were all black like everybody else. But they were too trendy.
I guess not uniformed enough for them.
It was uniform. I mean, code by standard. I remember one time I used to sometimes wear a part of my head. And by military code, straight part, front to back. And I'm in uniform, and the guy before me has a part too. He's of another complexion, and squared away comes to me and said, "Can you have that? What's that in your head? Is that about a book?" And it's like we literally went to the same barbershop on base. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Literally went to the same barbershop on base. So there are certain things. There are certain things that.
Would you recommend young folk?
Go into the military?
Go to the military?
Definitely.
That's good. Do you think that it helped you get into your career in politics?
It built the sacrifice in me, I would say. It instilled the service before self, the not ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. It instilled the sense of freedom that as Americans that we enjoy regardless if it's just going to the grocery store or going to see a movie. We don't experience an act of war front. We don't experience what it's called, it's not modern warfare in our streets. If it is, it's gang activity, but it's not a pocket.
I always say that with people. I say, you don't have to worry about drones chasing you down.
You don't.
You don't have to worry about nobody occupying the neighborhood outside of gangs, but not where it's like, no, you can't come over here.
You don't have to worry about it here. That's what I learned that was important about the military. The freedom, regardless if as black people we still got to march for our rights. It's not a drone chasing us down the street. It's not a foreign military dog chasing us down the street. So it's that part of the military that when I got home, I said, if I can do that for my country, I can do it for my community. And specifically at that time, Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown cases were going on. And then there was an active shooter event where a black military member was killed because he had a gun and he was actually trying to pursue the active shooter, which a lot of times they say in media, if there were more guns on the street, there'd be more good guys with guns and they could stop the bad guy with the gun. And this is that situation where the good guy was a black guy and he got shot.
Trying to help somebody?
Trying to help.
Hold on, look at that camera again and run that story back.
So it was about 2015, 2016. There was an active shooting event somewhere in the U.S. And there was a military, it was a black guy, he was an Army soldier. And the shooting happened, the cops came, we're in America, anybody can get a gun. It might have been Ohio. So he had his gun on him, and he went to pursue the active shooter, and since he was a black man with a gun, he got shot.
Damn.
So, and that happened, I was like, if we down in our streets, and there was another quote that was going around that it's more likely for a black man to die in his neighborhood than to die in military combat. And that really shook me up. Because here I was in the military, and it's more likely I get killed at the Popeyes around the corner than deployed.
Damn. So let me ask you this question. Do you think America is a race conscious country or a race neutral country as far as current day, like as far as the progress that you've seen? Do you think we're leaning more towards race conscious or neutral?
We're leaning towards it, but we have a lot more work to do. We still haven't atoned for the sins of our past, and by that I mean formally acknowledging the detriment that slavery has done to black people in the black community, whether it's in the form of reparations or whatever they want to call it. We still haven't acknowledged that or done right by the ancestors of the modern day black man and black woman. So although we've seemed to be making strides in the right direction, a lot of it seems performative. And until the rubber meets the road, America still has a lot of work to do.
So do you think reparations is possible? Is that something that you can get to? Or?
Native Americans got it. Japanese Americans got it. Slaveholders got it twice. We're financing wars in other countries. So do we not see the stimulus checks happening in COVID? Multiple stimulus checks happening in COVID. So for people to say, can reparations happen, or how can we quantify it or codify it? We can, and we've seen it done.
What would that look like for us, as a community? Like, how do you deploy that type of capital or those resources?
Well, one thing could be direct deposits, like we all got during COVID. Straight up. I mean, come on. How can we do it? Direct deposits, like we saw on COVID. Some of that could look in forms of tax abatements or in form of where if you're an ancestor of a slave that you don't pay income tax, you don't pay property taxes. It can be done in multiple ways. It's we're just void of leadership that's willing to get it done.
I got you. My wife speak always about reparations. I want my reparations. I want my reparations. And I'm in between. I'm kind of conflicted because
you gonna get yours too.
Well, I'm concerned. Not just me. You know, I get concerned about the community, right? Because I watch how so much wealth gets sucked out of the community so quickly, right? And I feel like if our people are undereducated on just finances, the money is just as quick as it comes.
Quick as it goes.
So I think it's some corrections that need to be made. I don't know, of course I would love the money, right? But my concern is greater, like, will the community be able to take the wealth, reinvest the wealth, make sure the wealth stays in the community? So now, 50 years later, the next generation isn't saying, like, what happened to me? Do you think that's possible, that we could
we can't save everybody. Can't save everybody, but for a start, a check would do a lot for a lot of people.
Damn right.
They'll do a lot for a lot of people. That might be someone's first annuity. A check may look like someone's down payment to their home. A check may look like someone's tuition or tuition for their kids or themselves. So, but unfortunately for some people, it will be squandered. The check may look like the start of a business. But it's still a move in the right direction.
Right. Do you think that could reparations be more access to, like, loans, funding to start
that could be a
business,
start, but
something
also
like that?
A check. I think there should be a monetary amount that's associated.
You got these guys. They got your votes right here.
They've done programs like that in the past, and they snatched them back. So all that could be done. But again, we're void of leadership.
Yeah.
Some of that's voters. We need more voting. We need more voters voting, or more individual citizens voting and being a part of the political process, so they can say, no, this isn't just a far left or far right thing coming from a few. This is a cry coming from a many, and this needs to be done if we're going to sustain democracy or sustain the union.
Yeah,
or continue with the myth that America is one big happy country of freedom and prosperity.
Yeah.
It needs to be done.
Yeah, I got you. So how was your journey into politics when you told your family you was running?
They laugh.
They laugh.
No, you ain't.
Did they laugh in your face or laugh behind your back?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. No, yeah, let me see it. Do it.
Yeah.
But that came around. I first ran in 2016 for District 3 Commissioner in Clayton County, coming right out the military, maybe like not even a year I was out the military, and I ran for Commission 3 in 2016, and it was a race. It was an open seat, race of 9 people or 8. And I came in, I lost, but I made it to the runoff.
Yeah.
And I learned so much right then, and I didn't get a lot of support. As much as support I have now, that same support base wasn't there. Yeah. And I think some of it was proving people wrong, that I'll actually do it or I'll actually see it through. Because for a lot of people, I think politics is scary. Or the being out front, having people invade your privacy, or putting yourself out for people to poke and prod. I think it's a scary thing, and it kind of is sometimes.
Yeah. But politics shouldn't be scary, right? It's how we negotiate the world around us, right?
We all private people. Right. And who wants their dirty laundry aired? And when you're in a political space, the opportunities or the timing, or your dirty laundry's gonna get out. Somebody's gonna try to air you out. And for a lot of people, they do dirt. So, I wanted to come to light.
Yeah, I got you.
We got a few questions coming off the live.
Oh yeah, so we have a live stream going as well.
Oh.
So that's the camera that's going. It's quite a few cameras, but that camera is capturing the live stream. We want to run a few questions. What are the questions?
Can you hear us? Yeah, we over to you, correspondent. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Well, it's low.
It's very low. Can you turn it up?
Okay, let me hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me okay now?
Yep,
I
that's
got
perfect.
Awesome. It's very nice to meet you. I'm definitely glad that you joined. Loved everything that I've been hearing so far, especially when you talked about scholarships and the funding that was going towards the Hope Scholarship. I was a recipient of the Hope Scholarship myself, so definitely went a long way. And you said that both Democrats and Republicans signed off on doing the Hope Scholarship just now. Are we looking at bringing more funds for the Hope Scholarship? Or are we going? I know we're expanding it, but are we actually bringing more money to the Hope Scholarship?
So the question is, are we bringing more money to the Hope Scholarship with this new legislation and things like that?
Well, it's bringing more access to the Hope Scholarship. So undoubtedly, it's going to be a bigger budget or a bigger fiscal item for the Hope Scholarship. So right now, if the Hope Scholarship, if there's budgeted for $10 million, which is so small and it's a lot more. But for just basic numbers, $10 million with the expansion and the individuals that could be able to take a part of that opportunity, it'll go up to $15 million. So definitely with this process, the budgetary item for the Hope Scholarship will increase. So yeah, there will be more funds added to that pot. Because there are going to be more individuals with a hand in it.
Good deal, good deal. You want to throw another one at us?
Well, I had a question.
Okay.
What exactly does your position do? We like to be very informative on politics and Black families, so can you just tell our audience what it is that your position does and exactly what your position is?
Okay. Districts, I'm a district representative for the state, so a state representative, District 75, and by law, what we have to do is balance and appropriate the state's budget. That's the only legal, the only contractual that we're drawn to do. By writing laws, policies, that is a caveat or an extra part of the job that we get to do. So whether you're going down Highway 75 and you can go 60 or you can go 70, that's something we do. Misdemeanor convictions for controlled substances, an ounce, 2 ounces, 3 ounces, that's
Right.
something we do. Whether we expansion of Medicaid and Medicare in Georgia, that's something that we do. So it's a lot that your state representative does, or in your House and Senate, because it's a bi-chamber party. You have 55 senators that represent the state, and then you have 180 House members that represent the state. And
I'm going to put a pin in that Medicaid. That was actually my next question.
oh yeah, we got to expand Medicaid. It's a growing crisis.
Yeah.
We're in a housing crisis, healthcare crisis, education crisis, a good golly crisis.
Yeah.
And by expanding Medicaid, millions of Georgians would be able to receive a quality of life that a lot of us have, and whether that's just waking up and being able to stretch or breathe, a deep inhalation, or walking up the stairs or down the stairs without passing out. Just simple things that we can do to help everyday Georgia.
You brought up something interesting, and this is a question that I know a lot of people want to ask, and we're going to get back to the question online. Decriminalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
They do it they did it in Ohio. I never thought they'd do it in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I thought they'd never do it in Ohio, right? Ohio, LA, I think some parts of Virginia, Philadelphia, some parts of Jersey. What's going on in Georgia?
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. But it still I think what's going to take is a far outcry from the citizens. Because we can talk to across the aisle, and I say across the aisle, Republicans until we blow in the face. And the needle moves a little bit.
Right.
Until they hear the outcry from citizens. Yeah. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take people looking like me, you, and everyone else in this room, regardless of faith, culture, class, creed, sexual orientation, to come there and advocate for themselves. And to show that this is an issue that's affecting all Georgians, whether it's a mental health issue, whether it's a healthcare issue, whether it's a substance abuse issue, or whether it's a quality of life and freedom issue.
Where do you stand on it?
Decriminalize and legalize, but definitely put in stops that we can have small and minority entrepreneurs taken to the industry. Colorado was one of the few states that didn't have a recession, if not the only state that didn't. Well, I heard Texas didn't either. And the impetus of that was the legalization of marijuana. At the onset of the recession, Colorado legalized marijuana, and the recession missed Colorado. Right.
Because with Georgia being so pro-business, you would think this is something that...
pro-agriculture, you'd think it would. But Georgia's also very pro-penal. And when I would say that, they want to lock your ass up.
Yeah, so they make more money locking you up than
They do. Very much so. Yep. I believe this year, the prison system as scale of economies, the prison system moved above healthcare. We spend more money locking people up, keeping people in jail, than keeping them healthy in America.
So what are some of your ideas around that?
Definitely decriminalization. Myself and there's a lot of decriminalization bills out there. It's just hard to get them heard.
Well, I'm talking about just in mass incarceration in that space where right.
Well, right now, I want to make sure everyone knows that we need to support Representative Scott Holcomb. During a biannual, he dropped HB 376, which was a deprivatization of the prisons. I'm currently looking at legislation now to deprivatize probation and parole offices, to bring that all under back government control so we can have a clear and transparent process. But I also think
when you say under government control, is it that is not under government control?
We have private prisons and private offices that regulate your probation and your parole.
Really? What is it?
So that, So
private, meaning that like...
There's contractor where the officer that checks on you is not an employee of the state. It's not an employee of your municipality. That it's an employee of probation for us, or just like any other private company, they are a contractor with the state. So the issue with that and private prisons is that it behooves me to violate your probation, parole, give you extra strikes while you're in jail, trump your charges up even higher, because for some places in Georgia, that's their number one economic engine in that city, in that county, is the prison. They have more employees at the prison that work for the prison than anything else. So if we start letting people go, if I'm that city official, if I'm that county commissioner, or that over the area,
it changes the economic base.
It changes my economic base of my whole area. So why would I want to decriminalize or legalize something that's keeping my people literally employed? That's keeping the tax base in my area afloat.
Well, we're going to have another conversation about this. We're going to have to get into it because I think that's very important. I read something where they can come and swab you, DNA swabs that they can do. And if you have a felony in Georgia. And
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was blown away by it. But anyhow, that's another conversation we're going to have to get into.
Blown away by a lot of things you find out.
Yeah. So what about something I seen you being vocal about with the arts world? You can't use what we do in music videos or entertainment to prosecute us.
Yes.
This is something that's happening right now. Where are we with that? Where are you with that?
So there was another bill that I dropped the bipartisan support. Again, shout out to Representative Gerald Green, Casey Carpenter, and the other representatives, specifically those two, because again, Republicans. So these are bipartisan ideas, bipartisan support. But that bill is, of course, to save and to protect the artistic and entertainment community in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
It has grown from $1 million entity to billions of dollars generated in the state of Georgia, whether it's music, film, art, culture, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And by being able to prosecute the individuals that artists and creatives, that's going to drain the pockets. It's going to make industry move in other places. We've seen industry leave Florida and other places because
you're restricting the artists, like.
But it's making it dangerous for even to create. Especially if I'm an individual that's creating to move out of my economic status right now, and I'm working for a Universal, a Sony, and the producer or engineer said, you need to make a song like this because this is what's selling. I'm going to write to that. I'm going to say that. And for you to be able to prosecute me off something that is not true, that I'm making up, that someone else possibly wrote for me to say, that's one is it's an infringement on the freedom of speech and entertainment as a whole. But then it's also just bad. Yeah,
it's bad. Even as we sit in the studio here, and I'm like, if you have to second guess everything you said, because I might get prosecuted for it. And some people, some people don't come from the best background, so sometimes it is still connected, because especially in hip hop culture, and I feel like that's more targeted towards a genre of music, because
it's definitely targeted towards a specific genre of
music. Yeah, because our
specific people.
Right. That's another whole conversation right there. But thanks for sharing that.
This last minute that we have, we just want Eric to look at the camera and tell people why we should vote for you.
Oh, okay.
Or re-elect.
Quickly before we go, why you should re-elect me? In my first, not my first semester, but in the first 40 days of my session, I've dropped over 30 pieces of legislation and co-sponsored another 20, while we have representatives that haven't, in their first 6 years, don't drop a single piece. I've been able to move hurdles as a freshman Democrat. As a Democrat, I've had 4 hearings where we have representatives that have been there for multiple terms that we're having our first hearing together. I've been able to garner bipartisan support. I've been able to bring services to my community. Since I've been elected, I've helped feed over 1,000 families. So I'm doing the work. This year I help give over 300 backpacks annually. I've been doing that and will continue to do the work. So it's not what I want to do, is what I will and continue to do. But outside of that, you can trust me. I'm clear as they come when we talk about dirty laundry. I'm transparent as they can be. So if you want someone that you can come have a conversation with, someone that's going to talk with you, walk with you, and do the work that you need on your behalf, I'm going to continue to do it and get it done.
There you go. So y'all know what it is. It's another episode of Politics and Black Families. You got my man Eric Bill here, District 75,
District
right?
75, live in 75.
Right. And when do they vote? How does it?
So I'm going to have a Democratic primary that's May 21st.
May 21st.
2024.
Okay, so y'all know, get out there, check them out.
I believe early voting is April 29th. Don't get me wrong, but you can start voting that.
There you go. So y'all get back with us, Politics and Black Families. Peace.